All right, hey, what's up everybody? I'm Landan with LMR.com. In this video, we're just gonna have a nice little chat session about the SVE aluminum drive shafts. This one here, it's been a long time coming. Again, I know I say that in a lot of our videos when we talk about the parts we make, but we've always wanted to have an SVE drive shaft in the SVE line, and we finally have one. These are made here in America with some pretty damn good components. As far as the drive shafts go, the reason why you need one could be that the original drive shaft is still in your car. The U-joints are just all torn up and have seen better days. So rather than replacing U-joints, just put a lighter weight drive shaft in it that gives you brand new U-joints. And then of course, the lightweight aluminum does reduce rotational mass. It frees up horsepower that the engine is already making. Once you move that power that the engine's making at the flywheel through the transmission, through the drive shaft, through the rear end, through the axles, through the brake rotors or drums, depending on the setup you have, and of course the wheels, all of that rotational mass takes power from the engine. So anytime you reduce that rotational mass, you're letting the engine become a little bit more efficient. It can accelerate quicker since you're reducing rotational mass here at the drive shafts. In particular, the SVE drive shafts, they're available with a 28 spline front yoke or a 31 spline front yoke, and that's gonna fit a multitude of engine and transmission applications throughout the 1979 to 2004 year ranges. And speaking of those year ranges, I'm not going to rabbit hole fitment notes, so I would definitely recommend you check out the product pages on each of these drive shafts. That way you can read through and find out and know which is the correct drive shaft for your application. And anything I talk about or show in the video, we'll leave a link down for you in the description. These drive shafts here, they're the correct length. They're constructed from 6061 T6 aluminum tubing with 114 thousandths inch thick wall thickness, and then the outside diameter is 3.5 inches. Up front and out back, they utilize heavy duty 1330 non-greasable U-joints. Most of the time in the aftermarket, if you're just replacing U-joints, you'll find that those are greasable. When you have a U-joint this good in an application like this, you really don't need Zerk fittings to be able to add grease. These are gonna last you thousands and thousands of miles. And then lastly, each drive shaft is welded at the front and the rear to attach the front and rear yoke to the aluminum tubing. And then each drive shaft is also individually balanced, and you'll see that with the weight here on the back of the drive shaft. Whenever I go to install this, you'll see me use new drive shaft bolts. You can reuse your existing bolts if that's the route you want to take. If you do, just make sure you clean them up. And regardless whether you're using new bolts or existing bolts, just make sure you put a little bit of blue thread locking compound before you reinstall, and you'll see me do that here in just a second whenever we go to install this aluminum drive shaft into this 1985 GT. Ooh, I almost forgot the weights. 28 spline drive shaft is going to tip the scale at 14.14 pounds. The 31 spline option is going to tip the scale at 14.29 pounds. Obviously just a little bit heavier there because of the extra spline count at the front yoke. More metal means more weight. And then the drive shaft that we pulled out of this 1985 GT, it was a factory drive shaft. It tipped the scale at 18.25 pounds. Now, depending on the year of your car throughout that 1979 to 2004 year range, you can probably bet on the other drive shafts weighing about the same. All right, so I think I covered everything. So we'll jump over here and we'll install this drive shaft in this 85 GT. All right, so to get started, something that I've learned from Scott Hubbard is to prep and clear coat the front and rear flanges. This is really easy to do. All you need is a microfiber towel and some alcohol to wipe any machine oils off the front and rear flanges. Allow a little bit of time to dry, and then you can spray the front and rear flanges with your choice of clear coat, whether it be matte, satin, or gloss. For us, we had some gloss clear coat in the cabinet. We sprayed about 3 coats to both front and rear flanges, and then gave it a few hours to dry. Once that's dry, you can apply some anti-seize to the rear flange yoke on the drive shaft where it's gonna make contact with the pinion flange. Then you can safely support the vehicle via a lift or get it as high and as safe as you can if you're gonna be working off of jack stands. If you're working off of jack stands, make sure you allow the rear end to fully droop. Depending on the vehicle, most of you will need to loosen the mid-pipe to catback hardware just enough so the exhaust components can be brought down in order to remove the drive shaft. Next, you want to make sure the transmission is in neutral and the parking brake is not engaged. Use a 12mm 12-point socket and extension to remove the 4 drive shaft to pinion flange bolts. You may need a swivel adapter or, even better, a swiveling 12mm 12-point socket. However, I was able to loosen each bolt with just a 3/8 drive, 12mm 12-point socket and a 6-inch extension. I will say this, an impact is going to make removing the drive shaft bolts extremely easy. Once the bolts are removed, use a pry bar to dislodge the drive shaft from the pinion flange. Slide the front yoke out of the transmission and then move the drive shaft towards the rear of the car to remove it. Plug the tail shaft with a suitable plug if desired. If you don't do this, it isn't the end of the world, as there won't be much fluid that runs out. Go ahead and inspect the pinion flange. Depending on the age and condition, you may have to clean this up with a wire brush. Remove the plug from the tail shaft. Take a little bit of the transmission fluid from the tail shaft area and lubricate the outside area of the yoke. Feed the new drive shaft into place and then get it situated so that the front yoke slides over the output shaft in the transmission. Apply some blue thread locking compound to the bolts. Align the rear flange yoke with the pinion flange. Start all the bolts by hand and then run them down. You'll want to torque these in a cross pattern. I always get the help from someone else so that they can sit in the car and put it in gear, as well as engage the parking brake as I torque each bolt. The torque spec for these bolts is 83 foot-pounds. Once I torque each bolt, I mark it so it's easy to identify which ones I've already torqued. Now you can lift the mid-pipe back into its correct position and retighten the mid-pipe to catback hardware. You want to use a towel and some brake clean to wipe up the fluid that ran out of the tail shaft. In order to check the clearance of the drive shaft for the surrounding components underneath the car, you'll need to move your lift points to underneath the axle tubes. That way you can simulate ride height and get the weight of the vehicle over the axle, which will bring the drive shaft back into position. Then you can get the car on the ground and you're all finished. All right, people, so wrapping things up here, again, I've always enjoyed an aftermarket aluminum drive shaft, and these aluminum drive shafts here from SVE are definitely a go-to for the Fox Body SN95 and New Edge owner. I think it's one of those things that it's a feel-good part. I don't know if I've already said that. They're easy to install, and then whenever you go drive the car, you can feel that seat of the pants feeling that we all call the butt dyno. Hope y'all enjoyed this one. As always, if you find value in what we do, subscribe to the channel, like the video, turn on notifications, and until we see you in the next one, for all things Fox Body, SN95, New Edge Mustang, keep it right here with the Real Enthusiast, LMR.com.